Hey guys, it's your best fight friends, and we're here to talk some UFC news.
Man.
That was, I'm like, I don't know, it kind of just takes me, I'm like, what? It's like a roller coaster.
Yeah, so here's the news, guys. Okay, I'm going to try, I editorialized a little bit in my talk with Heavy Stephen McCarty. We have a show on Facebook Live. We talked specifically about this issue. Conor McGregor is now saying he's not going to fight Dustin Poirier because Dustin Poirier publicly outed Conor McGregor over not coming through with the promised $500,000 donation to Poirier's Louisiana-based charity, the Good Fight Foundation. Here's the thing, Rachel. This all looks bad for Conor. None of it looks good. Even like his defense of the reasons why he didn't give the money, or even his manager came out and said some stuff. All of it makes you just look worse, in my opinion. And I think that this isn't the time in your career, I think, to be doing this kind of nonsense, right? I'm really disappointed in Conor McGregor's choices. I'm disappointed. I mean, I get like he's an emotional person and he lashes out via social media. John Jones is the same way. I'm the same way, if you remember, or at least have been in the past. I still think it's dumb. And man, nothing made it worse than him suddenly saying the fight is off against Poirier because Poirier publicly, he was at his last straw, right? McGregor publicly stated that he was going to give the donation of money to the charity organization. Poirier says that he was ghosted after the fight, even after he got all this good publicity, even after Poirier thanked McGregor publicly for this. So we all thought it was all done. You already got all this goodwill, charitable, like whatever stuff. And now, not only are you not going to go through with what you said, but now you don't even want to fight Dustin Poirier on July 10th. That to me is all kinds of crazy, Rachel. What do you think about it? Am I being too hard on Conor? I think it's all kind of nuts.
Okay, I agree with you that Conor's response to this, if I take this outside the UFC and celebrity, if I take it outside and, regular people, this isn't the best way to handle things. So I had argued with you that when the news first broke on this, that things can happen. You can manage situations in poor ways. So an example of that would be saying you're going to make a $500,000 donation to an organization you haven't fully vetted. He could have said, I'm going to make a $500,000 donation after my team fully vets the Good Life Foundation, because we don't just give money to whatever charities out there.
Good Fight Foundation.
And I agree with that. I agree. You need to fully vet what you give your money to if you want your money to go to be used in the way that you think it's going to be used. You can't just because there's lots of charity organizations out there that aren't actually doing what they say they're going to do, or they mishandle their money in any kind of way. So I agree with that. Was that handled in the best way from A to Z, from Conor? Absolutely not. Let me say this. If you want to promote yourself and all your fights, and you want to go full heel, well then, I don't know. Maybe this is not so bad.
Well, I think so. I agree with you in a way. Minimally, I thought the best route from a promotional standpoint was just to go full heel and be like, you know what, I'm not paying you, and then making it part of the promotion. Well, I still think you need to, in the end, fork over the dough, right? But it would make the pay-per-view really super interesting. But I
would just say this is even more full heel, because if he just went, and I'm not giving it to you, he went with that hysterical, maniacal laugh that he retweeted and just stuck with that. But to then go this way, the way that he's doing,
even more full heel. But I feel like this is I feel sad for you, heel.
More unlikable.
I feel like this is you've gone way too far into your own ego. I feel sad for you now, where you're one of the most celebrated and popular celebrity fighters in the whole world. People tend to love Conor McGregor, even sometimes against their own maybe against
their better judgment.
Yeah, better the judgment. And I think this would just make me sad. I mean, what? It's just crazy. Even if it's what Conor said, but see, the the way that it came out, even the words that he chooses in his social media posts, and we'll leave the link for you in the show notes, even the way the interaction between him and Dustin, or him and Dustin and Conor McGregor's manager, Audie Attar, if you read those and see what they're saying, there's one side that looks really, really terrible, and that's Conor's side, and one side that does not, I don't think.
Well, okay, first I'm going to say I'm being generous in saying this is a heel move and like that because it seems more reality than it does like I'm promoting.
Yeah, that's...
Secondarily, I will say this. It's Conor's not like put in a great light. The way that he's defended or the things that his manager tried to defend him with, like, also not great. I also question on the other side, well, Dustin, you replied to a tweet of Conor McGregor and almost like you were like lashing out at him because like he predicted like how he was going to beat you next time. This isn't the professional way to handle when somebody is like hasn't made good on a donation. That's what I
Right.
think.
I mean, definitely. But at the same time, if you were, what is this, April? This was supposed to happen months ago. And if it's true that you're reaching out to them and they're not replying to you.
I don't think you respond to Conor McGregor's
Well, I feel like,
tweets.
but I could understand where you're like, you know what?
I think like you probably issue
out at him.
Maybe a press release. Maybe you sit down on a one-on-one interview and you happen to be talking to Ariel Helwani and say, hey, I wanted to share this information just because I feel like it's important to know. I think that there were different ways. I think the way that Dustin and Conor have interacted with each other on both sides
Recently, it's been a little testy.
Immature.
Yeah, that's a good word, immature. But isn't that what we as combat sport fans expect?
Well, I don't expect it.
Yeah, but do you watch it?
I don't know that
I think the way that if you compare it to the way that Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou treated each other before and after the fight.
Yeah.
I would rather see that.
I want that.
But I know the other sells more pay-per-views.
I don't know if it's a strict like A then B thing.
It seems
so
like
I'm
it
not
is.
willing to jump on that bandwagon.
We've had this conversation many times, and you don't want to acknowledge that it might maybe be true. I will say that.
It could. I just don't think we have a way.
Oh, I've got the data right here on my phone, my supercomputer phone, Rachel.
Here's what I want. I want Conor to come out and say, okay, here's what I need from the Good Life Foundation.
Good Fight Foundation.
Good Fight Foundation. Here's what I need so that I can feel comfortable giving a $500,000 donation to this charity. Like, say that. Say, like, because here's what I would have liked when Dustin first said it, he should have been like, oh, I'm sorry, there must have been a miscommunication here. My team's waiting on this information. Or my team hasn't followed up. Let me check on that. There's lots of ways like this could have been handled in a better way. And what I don't like is that we do have a charity organization that is for people who need, right? Like who this benefits. And instead we're kind of like drawn into this like Twitter insulting back and forth.
Yeah.
But here we have people like, if your charity does what it says it does and it's important and it's needed, well then, gosh, this is kind of embarrassing all the way around. So, and these are real people who might benefit from this. Yeah. And if you're already benefiting from the charity in question here, I just kind of think, well, how do those people feel? Like these, big celebrities, like, fighting back and forth, and they're like, I don't know, I think I'd just rather go to another charity.
I think what I would argue is this. There seems to be only one path forward, I think, for both Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. I don't know, maybe the Good Fight Foundation thing isn't going to happen, but both McGregor and even Poirier maybe could donate $500,000 to the Good McCarson Foundation. We're just people. We need stuff too. If you guys both gave us $500,000, that'd be $1 million total. Think of what we could do with $1 million, Rachel. $1 million. A lot of good can happen over here in this house for $1 million, guys. Let's make it happen. Make it happen, Captain.
I'm confident the UFC is going to make sure that this fight happens and that the people around Conor who could also benefit from, his career will help iron all this out. And that this is part of the promotional journey.
Yeah, it would be great if it turned out that this was all just part of the promotion, like they talked about it. That doesn't seem like that's what happened. But in any event, I hope the fight happens, Rachel, on July 10th.
Yes, me too. And hey, thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you guys another time.